Subject-verb agreement. Do you still remember what a subject is and what a verb means? So, in English, when we speak or write, our subject must agree with our verb. If there is no agreement between the two, then your sentence is incorrect. A verb must agree with its subject in number or in person. So, let's proceed now. Learning objectives. Identify and master some basic rules on subject-verb agreement. Construct correct sentences applying the rules on subject-verb agreement. Appreciate the importance of mastering the rules on subject-verb agreement in improving skills in oral and written communication. So let's now see some of the basic rules in subject-verb agreement. Rule number 1. Singular subject requires singular verb. Plural subjects requires plural verb. Meaning, when the subject is singular, the verb must be singular too. Note that a singular subject refers to only one person or thing. A singular is any verb that ends with s, es, or ies. Here are some examples. Eliza wakes up in the morning and does her morning routine every day before going to school. In that statement, Eliza is the subject and it is in singular form. So you have to use singular verb next to it, which is wakes up. Wakes up is a singular verb because you have to add s. Is an inflection if the tense of the verb is present and if the subject is singular. Second example. Children love to eat chocolate. Children is the subject and love is the verb. Note that a subject is plural if it refers to more than one person or thing. A plural verb is any verb that does not end with s, es, or ies. Rule number 2. In the succeeding sentences, what do you think the difference between the phrases a number and the number? When are we going to use this? If you use a number as part of your subject, it requires a plural verb, while the number requires a singular verb. Here are some examples. A number of students rushed to the mall to attend Angel Locsin's fan meeting event. So, we use the plural verb rush. Next example. The number of unemployed people increases daily during the pandemic. We use singular verb that is increases. Rule number 3. Indefinite pronoun as subject. When indefinite pronouns are used as subject, take note that there are singular indefinite pronouns. This includes each, everyone, everything, everybody, someone, somebody, something, nobody, nothing, either, and neither. While there are plural indefinite pronouns like many, few, both, and several, the number of the verb agrees with the number of the subject. Here are some examples. Everybody knows the answer to the question. Everybody is a singular indefinite pronoun, so the verb is knows. Next, many students attend the party. Many students is plural, so the verb is also plural attend. Rule number 4. When we use fraction as part of our subject, the verb depends on the object of the phrase. Here are some examples. 1/2 of the land was planted with corn. Next example. 1/3 of the houses were burned. In the first sentence, the object of the phrase is land, which is singular. Thus, the verb should also be singular. While the second sentence, the object of the phrase are plural, the houses, thus the verb are plural also. Rule number 5. What is the difference between there is and there are? The phrases there is should be followed by a singular noun, and the phrases there are should be followed by a plural noun. Here are some examples. There is a squirrel in my pants. Next, there are birds in the tree.
Okay, let's now proceed on the sixth rule. When two subjects are joined by or and nor, the verb agrees with the nearer subject. So if there are two subjects in a sentence and they are joined by or and nor, the nearest subject from the verb must always agree with each other. Therefore, if the nearest subject from the verb is singular, we must use a singular form of verb. And if the nearest subject from the verb is plural, we must use plural form of verb as well. For example, either Sheila or the other students feel nervous on their upcoming recitation. The verb here is feel, and the subject or the nearest subject is the other students. The the other students is in plural form, right? So we must use what? Yes, we must use the plural form of verb, which is feel, because feel is plural while feels is a singular form of verb. Next example here is neither the guests nor the host arrives late at the party. Arrives is the verb, and the nearest subject is the host, that is which is in singular form, which is in singular form. So we must use the word arrives, for it is in singular as well. Next, rule number 7. The intervening expressions used in a sentence should not affect the number of the subjects. Some examples of intervening expressions here are together with, as well as, along with, and etc. For us to have a better understanding of this rule, let's have a few examples of it. The first example is Lisa, together with her friends, attends the Sunday worship service. So this is where people usually have a confusion with these intervening expressions, because we often what do you call we often base our verb here on this one instead on the subject of the sentence. So in order for us uh, to know if what we are, or if we constructed our sentence correctly, we must find the subject first. The subject is Lisa, right? And together with is the intervening expressions, which is, yeah, Lisa is followed by together with her friends, which is the intervening expressions. Okay, so we must ignore these intervening expressions, which is together with her friends. We must ignore it. Ignore the word friends because it is not the subject of the sentence. It is part of the intervening expression. So we must always focus on the subject, which is Lisa. We must find the subject. Lisa is the subject, which is in singular form. Therefore, we have to use singular form of verb as well, which is attends. So Lisa, together with her friends, attends the Sunday worship service. Next example here is the new students, along with their teacher, attend the orientation. Who is the subject in this sentence? Yes, it is the new students. So the new students is the subject here. And the intervening expression is along with their teacher. Okay. And the verb is attend. Since again and again, we must always ignore the intervening expressions. Ignore this teacher, along with their teacher rather. Ignore this intervening expression and focus on subject, which is the new students. And the new students is in plural form. Therefore, we have to use the word attend. So the sentence is the new students along with their teacher attend the orientation. Okay? Let's now proceed on the rule number 8. There are nouns ending in s but singular in meaning. They are called special nouns. So what? Yeah, that is what is special noun? It is noun that ends with letter s. But it is not but it is not in plural form. That's why they are called special. Parang exempted, no? Yeah. So the example here, the some examples of special nouns are mathematics, politics, Philippines, economics, and etc. Let's have an example. Let's have some examples. First, the news shocks the people. What is the subject here? The news. And news or news is singular. It may end it may end with the letter S, but the meaning of it is singular. So therefore we must use singular verb as well, which is the word shocks. Okay, next. The Philippines amuses the world by its rich culture and people. So Philippines is the subject and it is in singular form. And amuses is the verb, right? Oh, we used the word amuses because it is in singular form. And Philippines is a country. It is just one country. Therefore, it is singular. So the sentence is like this. Is constructed or was constructed like this. Philippines amuses the world by its rich culture and people. Next, rule number 9. Amounts of money, periods of time, measurements require singular verbs. So if you used amount of money, periods of time, and any form of measurements in a sentence, no matter how much or how much it could amount, the verb must always be in singular form. Okay? For example, is 5 kilometers is far to walk. Far to walk. It is form of measurement of distance, right? Kilometers. And despite of the amount of kilometers here, which is 5, and it is more than one, which is plural, we still used the we still used is as verb because it is in singular form. So any amount, if we mentioned amount of money, period of time measurement, no matter how much, how many, or how big it is, we must always use singular verb. Next is 2 million pesos was donated to the foundation. Just like the first example, it is 2 million pesos is an amount of money Therefore, we have to use the word was as verb in this sentence. Now, 2 million pesos was donated to the foundation. Next, rule number 10, last. Collective nouns take a singular verb. Collective nouns is collective noun is a group of noun. Okay, something like that. So the example of it are family, group, team, battalion, army, crowd, audience, jury, band, choir, and etc. Let's have an example. The band plays jazz songs. Here, the subject is the band, and a band is consist of many members, right? But we mentioned them, or we mentioned this group collectively. That's why it is just we must take it as singular form. That's why we use the word place as verb in the sentence. But if in the sentence, if it is bands instead of band, we use the plural form of band. Of course, the verb must be in plural as well, because we are already mentioning plural, or we are already mentioning two bands here, or more than one band. So it must be in plural form now. Okay, next example is my family loves eating. Since family is a collective noun, com- family is composes is composed of many members, right? So, but we mention it collectively, family. We have to use singular form of verb, which is the word loves. And other than that, of course, it is not just applies. It is also applies to the collective nouns that has names. For example, the band Super Junior. It is a K-pop group. Super Junior is a group because it consists of many members, 15 members, but they are mentioned as one. They are called Super Junior. Therefore, Super Junior is a collective noun. So in a sentence, we have to use singular verb as well in mentioning them. For example, is Super Junior is my favorite K-pop idol group, something like that. And yeah, just like that. So collective noun must be always followed, or must always have a singular verb as well. Okay, so that is all, and thank you for listening. I hope that we all learned from this lesson, and I hope that this subject verb agreement would help us better understand the English language. Thank you very much. God bless us all.